Steer clear.
Why, because he's a normie?
Because Tyler and his friends are a bunch of jerks. They can't stand the fact that this school is the only thing propping up their podunk town.
Says the boy whose life was served to him on a silver platter.
Hey, you know, girls in glass houses.
Should throw bigger stones.
There's a lot of buzz around the new faces showing up in Wednesday Season 2, and honestly, one character already feels like a standout. Grandmama, played by legendary Joanna Lumley. The cast for this season is impressive all around. Steve Buscemi and Christopher Lloyd are on board, and even Lady Gaga is joining in, but Grandmama has stolen the spotlight early. Season 2 is shaping up to be a big expansion on everything we got in Season 1. Wednesday's back at Nevermore after a wild first year and what sounds like an equally chaotic summer break. This time, the Addams family is getting more involved, which is exciting. We're going to see more of Morticia and Gomez on campus, and even Pugsley is now enrolled at Nevermore. But it's Grandmama who brings a whole new energy to the mix. Joanna Lumley's take on Grandmama Hester Frump is already winning fans over. Netflix describes her as the fabulously wealthy powerhouse behind Frump mortuaries, always perfectly styled, emotionally frosty, and armed with biting sarcasm. That's a far cry from previous portrayals of Grandmama, who usually looked a bit disheveled and eccentric in a more old-fashioned way. Lumley's Grandmama is sleek, stylish, and definitely someone who can keep Wednesday on her toes. What makes this even better is that Wednesday apparently idolizes her, at least according to Netflix's early hints. The show's teasing that Wednesday and Grandmama might even team up against Morticia from time to time, setting the stage for a hilariously tense family triangle. That dynamic alone has a ton of potential. It helps that Joanna Lumley has the acting chops to really bring this character to life. She's been fantastic in both comedy and drama over the years. You might remember her as Patsy Stone in Absolutely Fabulous, but she's also done films like Ella Enchanted, The Wolf of Wall Street, and even Corpse Bride, which was directed by Tim Burton, who happens to be executive producing Wednesday. Lumley fits this role so perfectly that it's hard to imagine anyone else playing it. The show's creators Alfred and Miles Millar are clearly thrilled with her too. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Millar said Grandmama brings a new kind of chaos and fun to the family that totally feels fresh. They weren't even sure how big her role should be at first, but now they're already talking about bringing her back for a potential season 3. And honestly, a third season seems almost inevitable at this point. Wednesday is one of Netflix's biggest hits. Its first season racked up over 250 million views, even beating out Stranger Things Season 4. That kind of popularity practically guarantees we'll see more of this world. Netflix also released a series of new posters teasing what's to come. Each one highlights a different character and showcases their supernatural powers. Wednesday's poster is front and center, of course, but there's one for Enid, Bianca, Pugsley, Eugene, and even the returning villain, Tyler. The posters also introduce us to new characters like Principal Dort, played by Steve Buscemi. His poster reveals he has fire-based powers, something totally new for the show. The posters don't just serve as hype material, they also hint at some exciting developments. Pugsley's powers seem to be developing in the same direction as Uncle Fester's electrokinesis, which opens up a lot of new story opportunities. Eugene's poster hints at a shift from bees to fireflies, suggesting his abilities might evolve too. Principal Dort's pyrokinesis is especially interesting because it brings a power we haven't seen before into the mix. In Season 1, the only real authority figures were Weems and Thornhill. Neither really showed how students were being trained to use their powers, so Dort might finally fill that gap. Plus, Billy Piper is said to appear as a mentor figure for Enid, which suggests we'll get a deeper look at how Nevermore staff actually supports the students. And it looks like the creators are taking that supernatural angle even further. Season 1 had a bit of everything, mystery, gothic vibes, and a sprinkle of horror, but Season 2 promises to lean more heavily into the scary stuff. The trailer even shows Wednesday is gagged and trapped, hinting at a creepy new mystery she'll need to unravel. There's a funny airport scene and some classic dark comedy thrown in too, so the show won't be losing its sense of humor. The Addams family is going to have a much bigger presence this time. Morticia and Gomez are now series regulars, and Uncle Fester is coming back as well. There's even talk of a spin-off for his character. It makes sense to give the family more screen time considering how beloved they are and how well they mesh with Wednesday's story. The trailer also gives us a sneak peek at some new characters, including one played by Haley Joel Osment, who appears to be leaning into the creepy vibe perfectly. The mix of new cast members, returning favorites, and expanded roles means the show has a lot of material to work with. Behind the scenes, the excitement is just as strong. The cast showed up for a big Netflix event to introduce the trailer, and Jenna Ortega thanked fans for their support. Her performance as Wednesday has been a major part of the show's success, and she's clearly excited to dive back into the role. The rest of the cast talked about how much fun it is to play such oddball characters, which definitely comes across in the show. Season 1 was already a hit with critics and audiences alike. It got a 73% critic score and an 85% audience score, which is pretty solid for a genre show. Fans have been waiting patiently, or maybe not so patiently, for updates, and everything we've seen so far suggests Season 2 is going to deliver in a big way. The story will pick up after the school was shut down at the end of Season 1, with characters adjusting to a bunch of big changes. That gives the show a chance to explore new dynamics, introduce new mysteries, and dive deeper into the powers and backgrounds of its core characters. Wednesday herself will have another case to solve, and it's likely she'll run into all kinds of suspicious characters along the way. Between the power upgrades, the growing Addams family presence, and new characters like Principal Dort and Grandmama Frump, there's no shortage of intriguing threads to follow. If the show leans into its spooky roots while expanding the world of Nevermore and giving us more time with Wednesday's wonderfully weird family, Season 2 could end up being even better than the first. And with Joanna Lumley's Grandmama shaking things up, it's already off to a fantastic start. And with all these big changes happening in Wednesday Season 2, from Grandmama's fabulous debut to the growing tension at Nevermore, there's something comforting about the way the show still finds ways to honor what came before. That's especially true when it comes to Goody Addams. Even though her spirit said goodbye at the end of Season 1, Season 2 has managed to keep her presence alive in a really clever way. Because Goody Addams was such a powerful part of Wednesday's journey the first time around, it would have felt a little strange to completely move on without her. She wasn't just an ancestor, she was Wednesday's guide, her protector, and in some ways a mirror image of who she could become. So the fact that Wednesday is now using Goody's spellbook to master her psychic abilities feels like a natural and meaningful continuation of their bond. It's not just a callback, it's a tool that's helping Wednesday grow stronger and more in tune with her powers. It's also a smart way for the show to deepen the supernatural world without bringing Goody's spirit back outright. This choice respects the finality of her Season 1 arc while still weaving her legacy into the narrative. And the visual of Wednesday meditating over that spellbook, wearing the necklace Morticia gave her, ties it all together beautifully. It reinforces the idea that her strength doesn't just come from her own grit, but also from the women in her family who came before her. So even though Goody won't be popping up to give cryptic advice this time, her influence is still very much alive. And given everything Wednesday's up against, including a serial killer with a twisted streak, it's a good thing she has a little ancestral help, even if it's just through the pages of an old eerie book. It's just another way Season 2 is expanding the story while keeping one spooky foot firmly planted in the past. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.